Where's these flowers? Oh, my God. Yeah. Pretty. Hello, my dear ones. I hope this catches each and every one of you well. Working on your spirituality and also working on your health issues. You know, sometimes when you've done this a long time, you kind of fall off the wagon a little bit. I've done it off and on and off and on and off and on, you know. So don't beat yourselves up too much, but at the same time, you know, try to keep that self-discipline going to where at least when you're starting to feel that your body is not responding as healthy as you would like, that you go back on your raw foods, go back on your fruits and things like this. And I can just tell you every day I see evidence and proof of how the fruit diet is essential for man in every way, shape, or form. And that vegetable matter just does not get it. And the proof is the difference between the success of Hippocrates and the success of us. Night and day, you know. So enjoy the fruits. And we've been talking about that a lot. And I want to thank this dear friend of ours who brought me a peanut butter fruit plant. And when the hurricane came, it ripped this Myers lemon. I mean, I had a Myers lemon to die for. I mean, it was perfect. It was perfectly rounded. I mean, the thing was so happy, and the hurricane goes, well, time to go, and just pick that up, root and all, pick that tree up out of the ground and goes, ah, just like that. So now it's going to be a peanut butter fruit spot, and we'll see how that goes. Because, and I also took out a variegated lemon tree I had. I had this huge variegated lemon, pink lemonade. It was good. Not anymore, but I do have a whole boatload of mangoes coming, and these mangoes are on 2 trees, and one's a dwarf. I mean, it's so full. I'm supporting it up with, you know, 2x6s, just holding up the limbs up. But that's a pineapple or a cocktail. Ooh, I can't wait. I had one when I first bought it. One came with it, and I let it mature up. And I'm going, if this is any clue, there's going to be some good fruit out there. So, a lot of things going on. I know that the last video I did, I introduced you to another line of botanical formulas that I've created. And it's just a different line. But we will not have those available till July 1st or 15th. Somewhere in that area, we'll let you know when they come available. We're still... the lab's still working on them and stuff like that, and it's I'm excited. This, like I said, this planet cannot use too many herbal formulas, and these are totally organic and wild crafted, and so that's it's just a different line, you know. The big issue is the magic of herbs and the importance of labs and things like this doing their appropriate work on these herbs, because a lot of people do not understand these are living beings. Everything is a living being, and herbs are magic, and you can destroy that magic. It depends how you run your lab and all that other kind of stuff. And so, labs out there, you never want to destroy the magic of herbs. Herbs are so incredible, it's unbelievable. You always hear this oneness, this sort of thing, that we're all one and things like this. When you get in creation, and especially when you're down in the lower areas like this, everything is separate. Look, this is separate. Look at this. Look at this. There's a mouse. A mouse! You know? But strip that physical body away. Strip that physical body away that you have. Who's left? Anybody had out-of-body experiences? Who's left? If you take your physical body away from you, who's left? Well, you know that's not you, because, wait a minute, there's your body over there, but I'm sitting over here still looking at it. So that body ain't me. Okay, now, you've got this emotional body going on, and we've talked about this before. This is tied to your adrenal glands. And this is why you see, and some of you practitioners, you have cases that you've worked on, and worked neurological cases in particular, and you've worked on them, you've worked on them, and you've worked on them. They're doing everything right, but they're not getting better. That means a journey into the astral world. And that means for them either a regression or they themselves have to go back. I don't know if there's any youngin' work still out there. I'm not into that level of thinking, but they used to have a youngin' dream work. And they would take you back in through your dreams into more of a lucid control of that, where you then could deal with situations that you needed to karmically deal with. So let's say you stripped your emotions away. To show you someone like that would show you someone that is extremely intellectual and cold as ice. An oncologist, basically. But when you see an intellectual generally really cold in that way, I'm not saying Stephen Hawking was that way, but when he, in all his understanding of everything, he concluded there's no such thing as God. But when you got Lou Gehrig's and no one can help you, you probably get pissed off pretty a while. Living like that for all those years, loved to have had him. So there's the emotions gone. You're just an intellectual, the mind. What happens when you strip the mind away? Now, I've got a mind. You've got a mind. If you were real, you got a mind. You know, your dog's got minds. Your horses have minds. Your cows have minds. Everything's got a mind to it. Everything. The ants, the grasshoppers. Everybody's got a mind to it. What would happen to you think, the mind, if you took the physical body away from you, your emotions away from you, your mind away from you? What does that leave? Just you. So there's no definition of the just you. And at these high levels, when you reach that, that's called the cosmic consciousness, so to speak. It's the universal mind. And at that point, you start to recognize everything, every plant, every animal, every human, as coming out of the same being you did, coming from the same place you did, except they're still separate. And for those that are spiritual and working on that side of them, you have to leave that plane and get through that thin sheath of the id, the ego, to inner consciousness. And then that is when everything explodes into the now, into the present moment, where there's no thought, no emotion, no nothing. And that's where you are one with all things are you. You are in all things. And it's the most intense state of aloneness you've ever experienced. An extreme state of the alone. Not loneliness, but an extreme state of aloneness. Because it's just the one. And then you start to understand why creation exists. But, so never discount yourself out, any one of you guys. Because each and every one of you, doesn't matter what you look like, it doesn't matter your shape, your size, and all the baggage you got. Baggage can get rid of. You can detox it, hydrate it out of you, and get to the point where you're pure you, pure awareness. The real you that's behind thought, behind each emotion. But we like to play with emotions. Emotions are fun. They drive thought. You can think about something. We were talking about this the other day, and we've talked about this before. I want a new car, because I like trucks, but you want a new car, right? Okay. That's the thought of it. Now, how bad do you want it? Do you want those payments? Do I have cash for the whole thing? Now, how much is the insurance for it? And there is the emotional components. That drives thought. Emotion is not thought. So each one of these are distinctly different levels of your client or patient. And you have to realize that in you, but also in them as well. Because if you truly want to help them heal, they have to remove the obstructions of emotions, and the instructions of thought, right? And so as you work with thought, you work from the solar plexus into the thyroid. But as you work with emotions, you work in the adrenal glands. And anybody that has adrenal gland weaknesses has anxieties and neurological issues and breathing issues and things like this. And, that's the game. And they also have emotional issues. And you find that all the way up. If you're like a 7, 8, 900 pounder, you have severe adrenal problems, severe thyroid problems, and probably pituitary. So you'll find those emotions. You'll find depression and anxiety in the overweight. And it's just because it's related to the endocrine glands. But then relate the endocrine glands into the emotional body, the mental bodies, and realize if you're having trouble physically in those levels, you're going to also have the reflex. It's like the spinal column. They reach out and touch everything, so if the liver's having a problem, it'll reflex back and get your T-spine. And it's just the way it's like L4, L5 is the kidneys. And so when you start seeing these areas of the spine related and that the problem can be over there and I'm feeling it over here. It's kind of like the way medical is, I don't see anything over here, and looking at the effect of something when the cause is sitting over here. So it's just this waking up to the illusion of duality and realizing that duality is essential to have fun and form and everything else. When you lose that and you lose creation, it's an intense state of joy and overwhelmness, but it's an intense state of aloneness. That's always what propelled me deeper into it, was that aloneness, because it's like a magnet. It sucks and pulls you. And the problem is, at a certain level, you can't turn around hardly if you're embodied and keep your bodies. It's just that powerful, of a draw. That just intensity is amazing. So I've got a meeting here in a few minutes, so forgive me if I have to cut this one short, but we're finalizing the labels. This is handcrafted, and you're going to see a lot of handcrafted consciousness. We've got the health center and handcrafted store. The handcrafted store, we're going to have all kinds of handcrafted stuff. And if you're doing something that's handcrafted and you want the world to see it, let us know. We always like to promote you guys. Same thing with books. Now that Sarah is over the books on the my school, it's exciting because now the new classes are coming in. We just interviewed a lady for reflexology, and I tell you, learning all these natural arts it's so cool. So fun. When you got someone laying down, just went down with a heart attack, and you can take off their shoe and start working on their foot, and pretty soon they sit up and go, "What was that?" That's pretty good. And that is what you got to learn. Simple little tricks like that to help yourself even, like the 3 pulses over the line. When your adrenals dump, your pulse is going to go thud, thud, thud. Put your fingers on that and hold that pulse line, and pretty soon you'll hear it go boom, 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 and then you come off of it. If you hold it too long, you'll see what happens when you energetically give something too much. Like if you give the body too much energy. Remember I told you I was poisoned with quinine one time and struggle breathing. So this, he was a Texas Ranger, I think, or I think he was a Marshal. He was a Texas Marshal, or U.S. Marshal. And he was tired of that, and so he's developing this electronic machine that would, give you energy. So he says, "You want to try it?" And I go, "Yeah, go ahead, hook me up." So he hooked me up, and I started breathing better. I'm going, because I knew it was neural, because it's neurotoxic, right? And then I felt the peak, and it come down, and I said, "Oh, turn it off, I can't breathe, it's going down the other way." And then it started burning my leg. And so, again, balance is real important. And you just have to find where that is, for yourself. Balance is always different too. As you get healthier, your balance is going to be much different than it would be if you just started. Your balance might be to go get a hamburger somewhere once a week just to stay balanced. And maybe down the road that wouldn't be necessary, that sort of thing. So I want to get in some of your letters here and see what's going on out there. But there's a lot going on here. Holy crap, I'm barely getting enough sleep. A lot of fun, though. A lot of fun. Creativity is just a lot of fun. We've got a lot of new creative things to show you. We're going into the body systems. We've got a new, we changed them to 8-week protocols and made them more affordable. And we just did a lot of cool things that I think you're going to like. Yeah. Kelvin, Zambia, 50 years young. I have a urethral structure. Let's see, myself. I have a urethral structure caused by, you got a structure caused by a traumatic catheterization be reversed. Oh, damaged, right? Yeah, that's the scary thing about all this. And the same thing with colonoscopies. People that have a lot of lymph stagnation interstitially in the bowel wall. You see that in iridology, that little bowel ring. You chew up cells and you get thinner and thinner and thinner. And of course, the matrix, the connective tissue gets thinner because calcium is being pulled, right? Acids, you're looking for electrons, right? Electrolytes, so that's pulled. And so pretty soon you get a very thin bowel wall, and then you have herniations, polyps, right? Or tumors, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But also you have perforations, poop, and that's not good. I told you about a case where a guy came in to see me, and I was smelling, I'm smelling stool over here. I'm saying, I'm smelling stool on you. And he goes, yeah, I smell stool and I have a lot of pain here. Well, I have a friend down here who's a surgeon. I called him up. I said, this guy, I'm smelling stool, and I'm really worried about a perforation. He said, hell, get him down here. We got the ambulance, got him down there. And he said he ain't got him down there, he wouldn't have been alive. So again, things, acids destroy cells, medical doctors. And you don't destroy cells with more acids because you're trying to rebuild cells. Ugh. So if cells are damaged, you have to realize that to fix tissue, you have two considerations. And it's the same two considerations that you always have, right? The first consideration is what kind of chemistry you're going to put in there that accelerates the healing of tissue, right? So we've got a cell regen formula coming out. Those sort of things are going to be powerful at regenerating tissue. And you can go with that, but you also have to remove white tissue as in the state that it's in. And 9 times out of 10, you're going to be sitting on the acid side of chemistry. For those that are sitting on the alkalotic side of chemistry, this is why nobody's curing anything. So you have to move your body into a hydrated alkalotic state. And to do that, you have to remove the agglomeration. Well, why would it be agglomerating? Takes you right back to where? Kidneys. Kidneys and kidney filtration. And the fact that most humans have lost their ability to eliminate their sewage. That's all that it is. And most sewage is acidic. There's alkalizes. Yeah. But the blowback, and when you treat it as that, you're always successful. And so that's the point. And so strengthening tissue, whether it's tubes, it doesn't matter where it's at. The body has to do it itself, right? There's not an herb that's for the urethra or the ureters or the kidney or liver, pancreas. There are, but you know what I mean? You really, the body regenerates its own tissues. All the herbs do help accelerate it. That's why I highly recommend kidney formulas, not just for increasing filtration, but enhancing kidney cell function. And that'll translate into the ureters, urethras, and on to the bladder and that sort of thing. But again, it's sad to have damage, but damage can be repaired. But it takes a high, raw diet. You know, you got to realize that nature is raw, right? Raw and handcrafted, right? When you get away from that, you've lost magnetic energy. You've lost the consciousness of the food or the plant. You've lost the structure. You've bonded chemistry, rebonded it. You broke the water solubles apart and rebonded the oils and proteins. I mean, you've created a substance that is not a food anymore. It goes down and it fills us. But raw is the state of health and vitality. And if you're damaged, you want to go to the raw state for a while. Then come out of the raw state and then go over here to the cooked state. But if you want to regenerate tissue, you have to consume an alkaline-forming diet. You can't have proteins. Proteins don't Wait a minute. That's not right. Protein regenerates. The hell it does. And that's the misnomer some people would have out there, thinking that protein is needed to regenerate tissue. It's the opposite. Interesting, huh? So that's the kind of diet I'd move to, and I'd move to some kidney formulas. I would, at the point, find a regeneration formula. Where you have maybe some antler and ginseng and some things like that in it. Our cell regen formula will be out in about a month and a half. But, there's a lot of formulas on the market there for regeneration. Western's got one. So there's a lot of good formulas out there for regeneration. But the key is the condition of the tissues. The underlying tissues that are being damaged are in an acidic medium. Well, what bathes cells? When I say acidic medium, what bathes cells? Cells are bathed in what? Interstitial fluid, right? Basically, you could say that. Well, what's interstitial fluid? Blood and, sewer, lymph. And that's the thing. If you just could get the fact that your lymphatic system is the body's sewer system and that the kidneys and the skin are the eliminative organs of this gigantic system. So this is the lymphatic system in the finger, right? But the AMA doesn't know what the lymphatic system is for. Something this detailed in the human body, and they don't know what it's for. Crazy. But I might have to go here, so I apologize for that. The grafting surgery I didn't help. 6 months after surgery, there is recurrence. Yeah, those tissues are too acidic, and it doesn't matter if it's a tube, a valve, a vascular, any of the vascular tubes. He's here? Yeah. 2 seconds. Yeah. So any of that can be regenerated. Tissue regenerates. But you can't regenerate. Keep this in your mind. You can't regenerate the body in an acid medium. I don't give what a surgeon grafts on there. Any grafting, anything like same issue. You can't expect to where the tissue has been acidic and necroticized and graft that, cut that out and graft that and not change the lymphatic system in the area. Your graft is going to go. Nothing regenerates in an acidic medium. Plain end of story. I'm sorry I got to run, but I love you guys. Hang in there. again, a lot of good, exciting things going on here, and we're all like busy beavers, getting everything for you. So be fun. Also, the A&P of this is going to be fun too, with the different systems. And I think important to think about systems, because in our communication with the lymphatic system, the urinary system is not considered. It's considered another system. No, it's part of the lymphatic system. You could call these subsystems, but in reality, the urinary system is the lymphatic system. Same with the integumentary system. So these systems are essential to the elimination of cellular waste. And if cellular waste, which are predominantly acids, are not being eliminated, you have inflammation. You have swelling. You have edema. You're starting to form tumors. You're starting to necroticize cells. You're starting to break down bone tissue, lose connective tissue. That's all the same art. Go get a disease book and read on all the diseases, and that's what you see in acidic medium. It's too simple. Love you guys. Take care of yourselves now. And I'll try to get another video this week, but things are just popping and hopping. We're also doing tons of carpentry work and all kinds of things too, because we're building a new place. So it's crazy.